Hey guys, welcome to the Magfair Ranch Paintball channel, and today I'm going to be doing a versus video. But before I get into it guys, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, share, and comment. Alright, let's get into it. So guys, today's topic of versus is going to be GPM versus DMM or SPMs. Okay guys, and so real quick, what those acronyms mean is general purpose markers versus your designated marksman markers or your special purpose markers. Okay guys, and there's going to be really kind of there's going to be kind of a crossover almost, so there's going to be a little bit of confusion on where some of the markers fall into, and so that's kind of the reason why I'm making this video guys, is to kind of make sure that we kind of clearly define some of the things that would make a marker fall more towards the GPM category or something more along the lines of a DMM, right, or SPM category. Okay, guys? But like I said, I'm telling you guys, there is going to be a lot of kind of obviously blend over from the different type of markers setups. So guys, let's get into it real quick. So let's start with the GPM guys, right? The general purpose markers. When I think of a general purpose marker, I think of a marker that's going to fall between an assaulter type marker and also a DMM marker. So like on another video, how I was trying to tell you guys, the DMM is kind of like, the designated marksman marker is kind of like a jack of all trades, but a master of none. The GPM is going to kind of fall within that same definition, unfortunately. It's just that the categories are going to be shifted a little bit. Whereas the DMM is can be a GPM assaulter, but it falls almost kind of into a sniper, right, role or position. The GPM is going to fall more into like a short barrel, an SBM, or CQB style marker, and then at the very top range fall into potentially a DMM setup, right? So that's kind of where kind of the blend over, but also kind of where the their adaptability categories lie into. Okay guys, so let's talk size and barrel lengths first. Okay guys, because the GPM can be a very effective assaulter marker, this is going to be kind of where the T15 platform would be the better suited platform. Not to say that you couldn't make a GPM with an M17, guys, as I have one here with our 417 Assaulter clone, right? This one has a 12-inch barrel, so we'll talk about barrel lengths here real shortly. But the obviously the deficiencies of the air system in the M17, not being able to shoot as many rounds, the size difference, right, being a little bit bigger because of it following an AR-10 platform, and then of course that added weight due to the increased size will not, obviously that will affect it negatively versus a T15 style of marker, which is going to follow more of an AR-15 style platform, right guys? Like our M4 URGI marker here that I have, right? And so it's going to weigh a little bit lighter with all the different accessories on it. This one has a crossbow scope, which I'll get into here shortly, guys. And of course, it's going to be a little bit smaller. Okay, so it's not going to be as big, slightly. Okay, guys. So yeah, so the M17 can definitely be used as a GPM, but there's going to be some negatives that come with that size increase and of course the air deficiency. So getting back to it, GPM, I typically think of a T15 style marker, and then of course barrel length wise, let's talk about barrel length real quick. It's going to be anything above 10 inches. But anything below 16 inches, right? Even going up to 16 inches, you can definitely, fall. Like I said, it starts kind of blending in with the DMM, but anything between 11 to 16 inches is kind of where I put the GPM markers, guys. So, like our M4 clones here, they're like the SOPMOD Block 2 FSP, both of these markers here have 14-inch barrels, guys. But like I was saying, you could also rock a 12-inch barrel like our assaulter marker. And I know there's a lot of builds out there in the real steel world, right, where they're going with 11, 11 and a half, 12, 12 and a half inch barrels, right, guys? I believe even the new URGI for the military, I think, is a 12-inch barrel, if I'm not mistaken, guys. I think 12 or 11 and a half. But anyways, that's kind of where the GPM is going to fall into. And so where it's going to be different than an SBM, right, or an assaulter position marker specifically, is that it's going to have a little bit more effectiveness long range. And so that's kind of where the barrel length, and of course now we're going to talk about optics, how that's going to obviously make that requirement better, right? So with the barrels, whether it's 14 or 12, you're going to get a slight performance increase than the 10s or even the 8 or shorter barrels, right? Shorter than 10-inch barrels, okay, guys? And usually in our testing, we've seen like 2 to 3 inch improvement at the longer distances. And then of course, depending which match grade round you match the barrels up with, you can get even better, slightly better performance, right? But the point is you're going to get increase with the size, obviously negative aspect, right? Because these are going to be bigger than the SPM markers. What you're gaining from that is going to be the increased accuracy and range distance at the longer targets. Now, the optics, of course, that you're going to want to pair that with now, because you have this increased range benefit and accuracy benefit, is you're going to want to pair it with some type of crossbow scope. And for these markers, unlike the DMMs or the SASMs, right, the sniper markers, we typically like to see a fixed crossbow scope with it. And the reason for that, guys, is because you get the kind of the usability of a magnification scope. Typically, that magnification is going to be a lot higher than the variable speed scopes that you put on the DMMs or the SASMs, but you don't get the reticle holds that the variable speed scopes get. So the variable speed scopes will typically have like 20-yard all the way out to 100-yard holds, or even sometimes beyond, right? But the fixed magnification scope, so this one right here is the UTG mini crossbow scope. It's a 4x magnification, and the Hawk XB scope that I have on the SOPMOD Block 2 marker is a 3x magnification scope. But both of these reticles only have holds up to either 50 yards on the UTG and only 60 yards on the Hawk scope. Okay, guys? And so that's going to limit you in terms of the distances at what a DMM or a sniper marker system should be capable of, right? So like I said, even though the GPM is capable of these long distance shots, past 80 yards, up to 100 yards, it's still built with the purpose of this short to mid-range effectiveness, right? CQB to 60 yards, CQB to maybe at most 70 or 80 yards, okay, guys? With that benefit of increased accuracy out to those longer distances. Okay, guys? Now, in terms of magazines, this is kind of where you can run the standard 19-round FSR magazines over the 11-round shorty magazines, because, like I said, you're strictly more of a mid-range assaulter position, but you're also capable of laying down that longer distance suppressive fire or elimination suppressive fire while your teammates with the SBMs assault the target. Okay, so it kind of fills both of those roles, but like I said, with the negative aspect of weight and size. Okay, guys. All right. What else? So with the GPMs, you're going to be obviously conscious about loadout. So you're going to want to be able to carry very similar loadout to an assaulter position or SBM marker, right? So that's going to be minimum 5 all the way up to 7 or more if possible, right? But at least 7 would be a good number to carry. And of course, like I said, you would want to mostly carry the 19 round, higher capacity magazines. You won't have to rock the bipods. As you notice here, I don't have bipods on the GPM markers. Now, of course, like I was saying, you could, because the accuracy out to the longer distances are better than the SPMs. But because the scopes aren't really, the reticles aren't set up for those longer distance shots, it's not optimized for that. So bipods are kind of like an option, but not a requirement, I guess. Okay, guys? So let's go into the DMM and the SPM, right? So the designated marksman markers or the special purpose markers, guys. This is going to be obviously where the barrel lengths are going to be longer. And like I said, this is going to fall somewhere between, 16, maybe at 15 inches at the least, but 16 to potentially 20 inches, right, guys? But obviously 20 inches, now you're start talking more of like a sniper setup, right? So the M17 marker that I have here for you guys, our SDMR clone, is a good, obviously, example of a DMM, guys, right? Very light still with the M-lock handguards. Very user friendly still with just a 16-inch barrel instead of the full length 18 or 20. And of course, because the M17 marker has the more consistent heat core air system, you're going to get that accuracy increase over the T15 style of markers at the 60 yard and beyond range, right? Up to even 120 yards. That's kind of what this position, right, the DMM is supposed to fulfill, right? That's 60 all the way out to potentially even 150 yards, but in that kind of mid-range to longer distance range, okay, guys? I wanted to give you guys another example, but unfortunately I didn't have enough room on the table. But obviously our MR12 Mod 1 or our MR12 Mod O style of markers, pretty much any of our SPM style of markers would fill that role as well, guys. And I wanted to give you guys this example because, of course, I have a bipod attached to this marker. I think in the future I'm going to attach a bipod to this marker as well too, guys, so I can show you guys the obviously the fitment of a bipod on an M17 style marker, guys. But back to the MR12, the MR12 Mod 1 has an 18-inch barrel, guys. And so for me, I think 18 inches is kind of the longest you want to go with a DMM setup. So ideally anywhere between 16 to 18 inches, maybe even as low as 15 inches, guys, okay? Now you can, of course, pair a bipod with these markers, guys, because as a DMM, you are going to want to set up a position of overwatch, like I was telling you guys on our DMM loadout video. One of your primary jobs that this style of marker does really well is providing suppressive fire or even eliminating fire at a very longer distance compared to the SPMs or GPMs, okay, guys? And so a bipod's going to help you with that, being able to set up a very stable position at the longer distances. And then, of course, in terms of magazines, you can rock the shorty magazines here. You want to carry at least 1 or 2 in your loadout, guys, whether that's the M17 11 rounds or, of course, the T15 11 rounds. But you still want to carry a majority of your magazines as the 18 round M17 mags, guys, or the 19 round T15 mags, guys. Because the reason for that is as a DMM, you're still going to do a lot of shooting to be able to do that suppressive fire for your fire team, your assault team to move, to be able to, potentially engage a target-rich environment. Let's say if you're having to hold a position, defend a building, defend your home base, and you have a lot of assaulters coming towards you guys, you can have a lot of magazines, a lot of capacity to kind of hold them at bay, especially with the increased distance and accuracy that a DMM marker does, okay? And then, of course, you want the shorty mags because, you might be called upon to do a sniper role or a sniper position where you might have to be in the prone position. And so, of course, the shorty mags are going to allow you to fire your marker in the prone position with the bipod. Okay, guys? Now let's talk about scopes on the DMMs or SPMs real quick, guys. This marker is going to be kind of where you transition from just your fixed magnification crossbow scopes to the variable speed crossbow scopes. And the reason for that, guys, is you're trading off. Unfortunately, you won't get the high magnification as you would with the fixed scopes. Typically, you're going to get a 2x like this True Glow OptiSpeed scope that I have here on the SDMR, or a 2.5 magnification like this Hawk XB1 variable speed scope, right? But the benefit that you get is that you have reticle holds now out to 100 yards or beyond. You also sometimes will have the benefit, let me see, okay, so this scope doesn't have it, but I know the Hawk scope does, guys. You also get the benefit of the reticle having brackets. And so typically what you'll get is you'll get either 6 to 24 inch brackets or 4 to 16. Okay, guys? And so what it is there'll be 4 brackets at every distance hold, and each bracket will either be 4 or 6 inches. And this was meant for, obviously, you know, the side presentation of a deer, right, guys, or a boar, because these crossbow scopes were meant for hunting. But in essence, you can still use those brackets to bracket out what a human target would be at those distances, right, guys? Because a male torso, average male torso, is about 18 to 20 inches. So if you're going to use the 16 or 24 inch bracket, you can kind of just use the number of brackets that you need to make that distance. For example, if you have the 6 inch brackets, you can use 3 brackets, that'll be 18, and then place that on your target at that distance, and then see if it's at 20 yards, 40 yards, 60 yards, etc. So in essence, it's a ranging tool, right? You can use it to range how far your target is off. Okay, guys? All right, let me put this back real quick. Okay, guys. The other thing, obviously, that the DMM is going to have too, I didn't talk about it, is obviously with the increased barrel length, you're definitely still going to get that increased accuracy, guys. And guys, obviously, I'm going to shoot some more test videos, some accuracy test videos with the longer barrels for you guys here to show that. But just trust my word that in testing, we typically see another 2-inch accuracy increase over the 14, GPM barrels. And then, of course, with the correct rounds, if you're using the DMM or sniper rounds on the longer barrels, you'll even get tighter group shots, okay, guys? And so that's what you're getting. You're trading off, unfortunately, once again, size and weight, right, for this increased range and accuracy on the DMMs. And so, of course, like, once again, they're both, whether it's the DMM or the GPM, they're both jack of all trades, but master of none. It's just the DMM is more of a jack of all trades towards the higher distance range. And of course, the GPMs are going to be a jack of all trades towards more of the closer distance range. So that's kind of where you have to kind of pick and choose, guys, in terms of what marker is going to best fit your guys' position, your mission purpose, right? Your task, your goal that you're trying to achieve. There's, just like in real life, guys, there's not one tool that fits it all. Now, of course, we try our best to do that, right? We try to produce markers. Even in our real steel rifles, we try to make rifles that kind of fulfill all these different situations. But the truth is, there's no one tool that fits it all, okay, guys? And so you just have to think, hey, is my role, am I the DM? Am I an assaulter? Am I a sniper? What type of roles situations am I going to get myself mostly into, because that's what my team is going to recall me upon or rely upon me to do. Or of course, what is the mission that we're taking, right? What is the event that we're going to, and is it mostly a CQB field, a long distance field where we can take those long distance shots, right? So it's kind of like knowing all those things and having all those tools in your toolbox to be able to select which one is going to do that task the best. Okay, guys? Now, of course, as I recommend, have them all, right, guys? Like have an SPM, has a GPM, have a DMM, have a SASM, and so that way when you go to the event or go to the field, you can obviously have, you know, whatever marker, whatever tool fits the bill correctly for each situation. But obviously, if you only can get one marker, guys, or two markers, or like I said, if you had to choose one, right? If we had to just put down to one, this is going to hopefully help you guys decide which one is going to fulfill your style of gameplay, your style of obviously what your team is calling upon you to do. So guys, that is kind of the difference between a GPM and a DMM, guys. It's literally just kind of the barrel lengths, the size, the weight, the magazines that you will decide, obviously depending on the role. The optics is going to play a huge part, right? Because even the GPMs, you could technically use a red dot on the GPMs if you want, right? Because you can use that as a very effective assaulter marker. And with the adjustable riser, you still can take those shots out to 60, 80 yards, you know, by using the riser to compensate for those distances. But the scopes are just, you know, that much faster, right, guys, in terms of just acquiring the target without having to make adjustments. And then, of course, like I said, with the DMMs, you have that longer distance accuracy and the reticle holes on the optics to be able to engage the targets out to 100 yards or beyond more efficiently. Okay, guys? And then, of course, lastly but not least, you can start looking at maybe the M17 on markers, guys, with the DMMs, just because of that air consistency. That's going to give you that accuracy at the longer distance, guys. So, guys, that was a video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully that clarified a little bit between what a GPM marker build is versus a DMM build, guys. And hopefully that helps you and your team decide, which way to go. If you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button. Peace.